All right, here's a little clone of the Boss LS-2 Line Selector I put together with wireless capability. Essentially a one-to-one clone of this. I don't know if you can see that there, but you've got your modes. Doesn't look like it's focusing in very well. I'll talk about those later. Anyway, so this is just a basic clone of this pedal. You've got two separate sends and returns. So we're going to call, I've relabeled them here. So this is the green channel, which is the green knob and the green light. And then we've got the red channel, which is the red knob and the red light. Signal comes in here, your input, your output's here, and then I've indicated with the arrows here the send and return. So green goes out this channel over here to, in this case it's going to this chorus pedal, and then comes back in here to the green return. I'm sorry, here the green return. Red will go out to the big muff, and then come back from the big muff to red channel return here. So output for each send is color coded, coming out here and returning here. Now the main use of this is you've got multiple modes. I've only labeled 3 of the modes, the most normal modes, common modes. So in this scenario, if you switch it to green only, you've got bypass and green. If you go to red, you've got bypass mode and red. It's a little noisy because we've got the big muff on. And then when you press it again, you're in bypass. Now if you go to this mode, this is both. So this is the most common one. This is kind of how I use it. So you've got your channel green or channel 1, channel 2 or channel red, and then bypass. So you kind of cycle through if you've got like a lead tone, a different lead tone, whatever, what have you. So for instance, so right now we're in bypass mode. Now we're in green channel, which is the chorus pedal. And then we cycle again. And now we're in the big muff. And then cycled again, and you're bypass. So basically, you can see the lights there. You cycle through the channels. Bypass, green, red, bypass. So same thing here, if you go to just red, you're just turning on your big muff and turning it off again. And there's a couple other very cool modes on here. So one is up here, it's above the green mode. And I had to label everything because I don't have room to. As you can see, this is not the world's most beautiful enclosure. Or paint job, aesthetically pleasing. Not the most aesthetically pleasing. There's a mode above here that's kind of a quote-unquote secret mode where you cycle between, I'm going to turn this off because it's annoying. You just cycle between A and B, or green and red only. 1, 2, 1, 2. Come down here to green, you've got green and bypass. Red and bypass. Now here we've got, this is kind of how I use it, you've got your red, or I'm sorry, your green, red, bypass, green, red, bypass. But what's super cool about this thing, let me get the sound going again. So we've got chorus, fuzz. Now if we go to this mode, this is actually enables them both as a mixer. So they'll both be on in parallel, which is super cool. And now we can use them each gain control. These are gain controls, by the way, which is another awesome feature of the LS2. Obviously, I take no credit for any of this circuit. So I'm going to engage the sound, and then you can fade. You can use those knobs as a mixer, essentially. So here's our fuzz. Here's our chorus. Obviously you wouldn't use these sounds for that, but there's a lot of potential there to do some cool stuff with. And then the last secret mode, which isn't a secret, it's kind of confusing. It won't work in this configuration, but if you go to the very bottom, which isn't labeled, it basically becomes an ABY selector. So you go between A, B, Y. It doesn't. The returns are disabled, so you basically just have 3 different outputs. So if you wanted to run 3 different rigs or 3 different amps or something like that, you can do it with this thing. So overall, this is just a super cool pedal in general. But I'll show you the wireless part next, which is what I did. Is I installed a wireless receiver inside this. Here's the antenna for it. And here is the guts of the remote. So, if you watch the, I'm not going to have the sound going, but if you watch the lights, you can wirelessly click between the modes. So this unit has a housing. It's battery powered. It's fairly small. It's kind of big. The switch itself is very small. And this could be mounted potentially underneath a pick guard, on the guitar directly, inside anything really where you want a switch, where you can be foot free or whatever. I mean, this could go into something that goes on a mic stand. And I've tested it. The range is really good, especially with this antenna. The range is not an issue. I can go upstairs in the other room and control this, so I don't think there's any issues on stage, or there would be any issues anywhere on a stage switching. The only kind of issue with this as of now is it takes a deliberate push. So, you know, sometimes if you just tap it barely, it's not doing anything. You got to really just push it, just kind of almost hold it for a second. And if you listen, you can hear that relay clicking inside the enclosure. But I've actually inserted an inductor capacitor noise filter inside this to separate the noise of the relay from actually getting into the audio. You'll hear a little bit of click, but you actually do in the Boss one too. This one actually, it's the thing I like least about this, is you do hear a little click when you switch between the modes, and it's the same with the clone. The only way I've really found to get around that is to not, switch while you're playing. Like if you stop and switch in between notes, you don't hear the click. If you're playing and you switch modes, you will possibly hear a small pop, and that's really it's just a waveform chop. It's not really a pop. So let's fire this thing up again. So I'm cycling through the modes here with just this. Bypass, fuzz, chorus. Oh yeah, and another cool thing I forgot to mention, I'll probably think of a bunch more things. If you completely remove the send and returns on this, nothing's plugged in, you still have a 2-channel boost or gain reducer, whatever you want to call it. For instance, so I've just got the input and output plugged in right now, and this is super reverb, by the way. Turned down very, very low. So here we're in channel. You can just, these volume controls, in the center, noon is unity. So you've got boost, a full range of boost and cut. So you could have you have your bypass. Well, in this case, I'll do a bypass sound. I've got a quiet sound, like a low gain sound, and then a boost. So check this out. So there's my reduced sound if you want an extra clean tone. Boost. And bypass.